So, what is infinity? There are varieties of concepts of infinity. For example, if you go and walk along the bank of the ocean, and when you see those sand particles, they appear to be infinite. Just recently we are coming from Jagannath Puri. We had around 100 people, in a retreat, and we were sitting at the bank of ocean, Puri Mahodadhi. And what happened when there are this vast, bank of the sand particles? I asked some of our participants, can they count these sand particles? Everybody said, no, we can't. I said, why? And many of them, they answered that it looks like infinite. Then I have to explain to them, my dear friend, you can create always a big drum in which you can put all these sand particles. And that big drum will have a finite volume. And hence, I can have an upper estimate of the number of sand particles that are there, right? So, it is just a theoretical exercise. Nobody will go and really do it and calculate the sand particles. But the point is that even some of the finite quantities in this world, they appear to be so infinite. So, what to speak of infinite itself? So, before we can even scratch the surface of infinity, we should even remove the curtain of so-called infinity which are not infinity. And this is very important. And when we are sitting in the bank of the ocean and you look at the ocean, that looks very, very infinite as well, isn't it? Then you feel the vastness of the ocean, you have another experience of the infinity. But ocean is not infinite. But to limited personalities like us, it appears to be infinity. You ponder over the limitless sky, then you have another idea of that infinity. So many stars, so many planets, and sky looks limitless. But still, the moment you understand this universe as a boundary and a finite volume, then again you enter into finite realm. Someone, say a physicist, who has dedicated his whole life on contemplating the gigantic nature of this universe, he will have another understanding of this infinity. A mathematician will encounter this concept of infinity from another angle. So basically, while we try to contemplate an infinity, we'll encounter many of the so-called infinitely appearing objects, but soon we see they are no more infinite. Okay? So, for example, if I ask you, is 10 to the power 999 an infinity quantity? You will say no, because 10 to the power 999 is a finite quantity. 10 to the power 999999, is that an infinity? And you would say it is not an infinity. It's a very small quantity. It's a finite quantity. What about the factorial 9999999? Factorial means 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 and go on multiplying. Is that an infinity? So, before you can even enter into the realm of infinity, same question we ask, is the number of sand particles in the earth planet infinity? That is very simple to answer, because I gave you the example of the sea beach. So, even if earth planet has a lot of sand particles, lot of ocean, lot of sea beach, lot of rivers, lot of sea beaches, but still you can collect all those sands and put in a big drum, and that big drum will never be bigger than the volume of the earth planet, and hence this is a finite quantity. Okay? But at the beginning, when you were sitting in the sea beach, you felt this is infinite. But our scientific mind, by contemplation, can say this is a mere finite quantity. Similarly, is the number of molecules that constitute this earth planet finite? Yes, because again earth is a finite. Because earth is finite, the number of molecules that earth would consist of will be also finite. The number of photons being emitted by luminaries in this universe, is that infinity? Imagine all bulbs, the sun, the moon, the stars, everywhere, wherever there is heat or fire, they all emit photons. Can I count that? But when you look at the energy, if you understand this energy is finite, then you can easily say this is finite. But it is, imagine, when you fly over a city in the night, right? You see all those, electric bulbs and, lights, and they all emit so many photons. It's mind-boggling that somebody can count all these photons. So in one sense, if using my finite senses, I have to count all those things. It looks very, very gigantic task. But in another context, they may look very infinite, but actually they are all finite quantity. So what I am trying to tell you is that infinite is not something that we can reach. But before we can contemplate an infinite, we must look at the objects that looks like infinite, but they are finite. I'll tell you a very nice story. This story comes from India. So we will start from here in our next discussion in the next video. Thank you very much.